What is going on, guys? So today I'm going to talk about a pretty simple topic, and that is, why do soldiers actually want to deploy? So if you're in the military already, you probably already know the answer to this for yourself anyways, but this video is kind of more towards and for your family members or civilians that are kind of maybe wondering, why do soldiers actually want to deploy? Doesn't being deployed suck? Why do you want to be away from home? So to answer some of those questions of why in the world would somebody want to be away from home, because we all know, like, soldiers, they want to come home, right? Like, all of the soldiers that are overseas, they don't actually want to be there, right? Well, honestly, for a lot of the soldiers that are deployed, they kind of do want to be there, and whenever they come back from a deployment, a lot of times they want to go back. I'm going to talk a little bit about a few reasons why that could be the case. Obviously, this isn't every reason why somebody would want to deploy, but this should shed a little bit of light on reasons why people want to deploy, and it'll kind of, me tell you guys some of the reasons why I think, I want to deploy and why I think other people want to deploy. And the first big thing, and one of the big reasons why I currently wanted to deploy, is because, number one, I've been in the Army for almost 4 years. A lot of that time has been in training. Obviously, I did base training in AIT and stuff, and then now I've done ROTC, and I'm about to go to Bullock for 4 months. And then after Bullock is actually going to be my first chance in my entire Army career, which will be over 4 years of time in service, when I will have the eligibility to actually go and deploy. And for my girlfriend, she's like, why do you want to leave, right? This is, for me, one of the reasons that I want to go, and that is because I don't think a lot of people, there are some people out there, but I don't think the majority of people want to join the military and not have any kind of deployment under their belt. I think a lot of people join the military to actually go and at some point in time deploy, right? So for me, myself, if I were to do my time in service and never deploy, I wouldn't really feel like I really got the full experience of the Army. I would be kind of upset with myself. I'd be kind of just as upset in general. I wouldn't feel like I've really done the most that I can to serve my country. So a lot of people, they want to deploy. They want to at least get that one deployment, really kind of to say that they have been deployed, to really have an opportunity, right, to actually go and really do your job and really make a difference. Because to be honest with you guys, when you are over here stateside, whenever you are stationed somewhere, you're not really doing your job as much as when you are deployed, right? All the stuff stateside, it's all kind of training and preparation for when you are deployed. And when you're deployed, when you're overseas, you're actually kind of implementing and doing the things that you've been training for like years, right? So obviously you're kind of, for most people, kind of looking forward to that, looking forward to actually getting to do the thing that you want to do. In my case, it almost feels like, it's like I've been in college for so long, and when you deploy, it's like you finally get that job. You finally get that job where you can actually do the thing that you want to do. When you're deployed, you actually get the chance to really, really serve your country and actually put, even more of a sacrifice out there, time away from your family, because, you're serving your country and everything when you're stateside, but when you're deployed, it's like even more so. And then another little angle of looking at this, of why somebody would want to deploy, is it kind of gives you that credibility, right? If you're talking to, like, let's say another veteran, you're like, yeah, I was in for 10 years, blah, 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 I was in for 4 years, and you're like, hey, where were you deployed or whatever? And like, let's say you say, oh, I was never deployed and I was in for like 6 years in the military. A lot of veterans, a lot of people might look at that and be like, why didn't you deploy? Like, what the heck? Like, what is going on? Why did you not want to deploy? So there definitely could be a little bit of a negative connotation on you, a little bit of negative light on you if you do not deploy. I guess that could be kind of like a peer pressurist thing. And so for a lot of people, you kind of want to get that deployment under your belt so that you can say that you've been deployed. I know for me, I remember going to some drills and stuff at my reserve drills. And when you're at drill, a lot of times your drill unit will, you go out to eat at a certain place. And I remember I was with a group of like 3 people, and this one person came up and thanked me for my service, and thanked me first, basically just talked to me. And the other people that were there, they were all deployed. They had all been deployed before. They've been in longer than me, and they all kind of joked, of course the person, thanks the person for their service who hasn't been deployed yet. So, for me, like, obviously if I had been deployed, then they wouldn't have made that joke about me not having been deployed. So that's just one little thing to look at. All right, so quick little summary. Whenever you deploy, you get to do your job. You get to really serve your country. You feel like you're doing and putting more of a sacrifice out there, which makes you kind of feel better about yourself as far as serving your country, doing your part, right? And then you kind of get that stigma of a soldier who has never been deployed before, a kind of a little negative connotation with that. That can be looked at as negative. You kind of want to get that out of the way. So that's a quick little summary of what I talked about. And now one reason why some people really do want to deploy, and that is the pay, right? So when you're getting paid stateside, whenever you're over here, you're getting taxes taken out of your pay, which is a good bit of money. Obviously, if you're not getting taxes out of your pay, you're gonna make several $1,000s more a year. When you're deployed in most areas, right, that money is tax-free. If you ever get a bonus or something whenever you're overseas in certain areas, again, that money is tax-free. So you can end up making technically way more money because it's tax-free. And then on top of that, you're gonna make more money essentially because when you are overseas, again, let's say you're in Afghanistan or something, you really don't have that many expenses, right? If you have a mortgage or something at home, you're gonna be getting extra money for that to pay for your mortgage, right? So all those expenses that you might have at home, you're gonna get extra pay for that whenever you're overseas, so that's not gonna be really an issue. So when you're overseas, that base pay that you have, I mean, you're not really spending it on that much. Like, you shouldn't be obviously buying a whole bunch of crap online or anything, but for the most part, you're gonna be saving a lot of money when you're overseas. And then on top of that, it's all gonna be tax-free. So you could easily come home with a couple tens of thousands of dollars, especially depending on your rank. For me as an officer, when I get deployed, I'm kind of just like, holy cow, it's gonna be a lot because, obviously, if you guys didn't know, officers do make more than enlisted soldiers. I think that's a pretty known fact, but if you didn't know, they do. So for me, whenever I do get deployed, having no taxes taken out and everything, it's gonna be pretty nice. All right, so a little piece of advice for those of you out there who are looking to join the military or you've just recently joined the military. If you are single right now, that is kind of your time, in my opinion, to deploy a couple of times, because like I just talked about, you're gonna be getting a good bit of money. And if you're single, it's really no secret that your deployment is gonna be a lot easier because I've talked about before, you don't have that person back at home, your significant other, that you're really missing. Obviously, you're gonna miss your family, but especially if you're married or if you have a girlfriend or something, you're gonna miss them a lot, and it's gonna make you want to come home, and it's gonna make you not want to deploy a couple of times. So if you are single, if you're young, I definitely recommend getting a couple of deployments, if you can, saving that money and actually using it wisely. Don't just blow it when you come home, because if you do come home, you're probably gonna have, a good chunk of change in your bank account. Just don't blow it, use it, be smart with it. And again, if you're young and single, try to deploy kind of as much as you can with that time so that you can kind of accumulate a good bit of wealth early on in your military career, and really in your early 20s if you decide to join that early. Now, one reason a lot of soldiers decide to deploy, a lot of people I think in the Army Reserves and the National Guard decide to deploy, and I've seen this from a lot of people who are really kind of requesting deployments and really wanting to go on deployments, and that is when you are deployed, obviously, the pay and everything is good and you're doing your job and everything. If you're in the reserves and maybe you don't have a job that you enjoy all that much, maybe you're not working that much, and you kind of want to deploy in the reserves to actually just, have something to do, to be really busy, I think that's something that a lot of people really actually do like. They like the thought of whenever you're overseas, you're kind of have a job to do every single day. You got something basically going on, right? And if there is nothing going on, then you can kind of go to the gym, you can hang out with your buddies or whatever. There's not as much pressure, honestly, on some aspects as like the civilian side is, like worrying about paying your rent, worrying about your normal civilian jobs, because I think in a lot of ways, military jobs, it's just great. You don't have as much pressure in a lot of different areas that you do as with a civilian career, so that's really great. So somebody who's looking to deploy to really kind of just stay busy, maybe they don't have a lot going on right now in their civilian life, and then they kind of like, hey, I got some time, let's go ahead and knock out this deployment. I'm gonna use this time to really just focus on the military, focus on myself as well, and really improve a whole bunch of different things. So whenever I come back, I'm gonna be ready to go. I'm gonna have a little bit extra more money than whenever I left. It's gonna be all great. All right, so again, obviously those aren't all the reasons why somebody would really want to deploy, but those are some things that I have thought about. Those are some of the reasons that I would want to deploy, right? So if you're kind of curious, you're like, why in the world would somebody want to deploy? Hopefully that maybe sheds a little bit of light on the situation for you. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. That would be awesome. If you want to check out some more of my videos, hit that subscribe button. That would be even better. And even better than that, hitting the notification bell button just like makes you the real MVP, like for real. Follow me on Instagram and Snapchat if you haven't already. Links are in the description down below. I hope you guys have an amazing freaking day, and I will see you later.